Hey guys, Carlos Colon here with Georgia Perimeter Homes, and today we're going to be talking about how do realtors or even appraisers come up with comps. What are comps, and how does that affect what I'm doing here in real estate? You know, how I sell my property or how I buy one and how it's valued. When we are valuing a home, and also when an appraiser is valuing a home, comps are the properties that are like kind and also closest to the neighborhood, as well as the subject property, which is the house that we're talking about valuing. And like kind meaning similar number of bedrooms, baths. If it's a ranch home, we really want a ranch home also. If it has a pool, we would really want the comp to also have a pool. If the subject property has a basement, same idea, the comp really should have a basement, so it's relative. It's got to be relative. Also, the condition on the inside of the property should match somewhat. Not meaning the same color, but the quality of the materials used on the inside should really kind of match. If you've got granite countertops, we would really want the comp to have granite countertops as well, right? So that's kind of how a comp is defined. Now, depending on what your situation is for your subject home and where it's established, depends on how far you have to go out to really find comps. For example, if you live in a gated community and you're trying to figure out how much your home is worth, well, the way an appraiser and also real estate agents are supposed to start by doing that is by starting within the neighborhood. And you start within that gated neighborhood and go, okay, what has sold within the last maximum 12 months from the date that I'm doing this analysis on your home? Now, there is a problem with 12 months. And that problem is, if you are the appraiser doing the appraisal, yes, you can go back up to 12 months. If you're the real estate agent on the front side, if the property's not even under contract, it doesn't matter what sold 12 months ago, because by the time it goes under contract and the appraiser comes out within the next 30 days, that comp will not be usable anymore because it's going to be in month 13. So we have to really understand that the closer in timeline that comp sold, the better it is to be a valid comp that can be used within that relative time. So what an appraiser tries to stick to is what is sold in the last 3 months from the date that we're doing this analysis. We start there. Just like the area that we're talking about, you start as close as you can, you also start as close as you can in timeline. So back to the example, we're in a gated community, we start within the community and go, what has sold here within the last 3 months? Okay, we stay within the community and go, okay, let's say there's nothing. What has sold within this community in the last 6 months, 9 months, and then 12 months? Okay, that's one set of data, right? But let's say only one house sold in the entire community in the last 12 months. Okay, well, the appraiser is going to need more information. So guess what? Now we have to go back to 3 months, and now we're going to go out a little bit more. Okay, do the same thing. Then out a little bit more, do the same thing. Out a little bit more, do the same thing. Until we get the best comps that are most relative to the subject property, are closest to the property and closest in timeline. Closest to the property as far as a map, direction is concerned. How far out can an appraiser go? Well, it really depends on your situation. If you're within a regular subdivision, typically he tries to stick within your subdivision unless he has to go outside of it. But if you're not in a subdivision at all, I've seen appraisers go out 3, 4, 5, 6 miles depending on what kind of home. And what I mean by that is we've sold homes before where there was 2 or more properties or houses on one parcel and we were selling everything. And in a situation like that, how do you find comps? I mean, sometimes you have to go very far out in order to find your comps, in order to find something that's like kind, because that's a very unusual situation. But it does happen. And so in that kind of a situation, and you're not in a subdivision, you go out as far as you need to in order to find your comps. Now, does that mean you can go out 100 miles? No. It's still got to be pretty relative to the area. And so I have seen appraisers go at least a city over, or one city out, in order to get their comps up for. It just depends on the type of property we're talking about. When we're talking about a luxury, over $1 million property, sometimes you got to go farther out, and that's okay. I mean, there's some lakefront properties that are very, very big, and you could have several, many different cities all around that lake. In order to get there, you might have to travel for an hour to the other side of the lake to get there. That's okay. It's still a lakefront property. It should be relative. And so it just depends on your situation. Now,